What inspired you to go into traditional Chinese medicine?
And the word is health. Again, when I was in your so-called convention, I was called conventional medicine, the entire focus is on sickness, right? And I remember for me, why did I start questioning what I was doing? And I remember at the time I was doing my medical residency. And my best friend, he was 27 years old. And he was a few years younger than me. And we were roommates for 2 years. And so we're very close. And he was getting married that summer. This is around springtime. And so he wants to lose a few pounds, understandably. Mm-hmm. He went to the doctor, medical doctor. They gave him a prescription that was actually approved by FDA. And he didn't show up for work. 1 week, 2 weeks later, what happened was the family, and his family is overseas, they don't know where he was. So they called the police, and the police went to his house. And they looked into the house, because the front door is glass. And when they looked in, the first floor is flooded. And the water is still dripping from the ceiling. So the police went inside the house, went upstairs, and the shower is still running. Wow. And he was right there on the floor.
Oh my goodness.
27 years old. And you're probably too young to remember this. But this is in the late 80s, early 90s. Fen-phen. Fen-phen. It was approved medication for weight loss. He ended up having a heart attack. 27 years old. And ever since then, I started questioning the medication. I know there's a validity because in ER, we use the medication to save many lives. There is validity. But also, you have to consider adverse effect, right? And sometimes, yes, it's necessary, but you have to weigh it out. What's truly necessary? And so you have to really consider the adverse effect. In medical school, when we're studying medication, the emphasis on what? The adverse effect, or the drug-drug interaction, right? And so because we know the adverse effect, we have to be more cautious. And so ever since then, I started questioning, well, I went into medical school for health, but all I'm learning is sickness. And what is health? I can't even define what health is as a healthcare provider because everything we talk about is sickness. Mm-hmm. And in that sickness, there's no health. Just because you're free of symptoms due to medication, you're healthy? Right? And that's a question you can answer. Most of us can answer that. And are you going to be on it for the rest of your life? And furthermore, the question that I had at that time was, the medication, are they truly addressing the root cause? Mm-hmm. Or are they just only manage the symptom? Because if it's truly addressing the root cause, then after a period of time, you may not need to be on it. But if you're still on it, and as soon as you get off the medication, hypertension, for example, without any other changes, the blood pressure goes up. I mean, did you really cure it or take care of it? No. It's very, very temporary. You have to understand the underlying cause of whatever that is. Hypertension is a good example, right? Yeah. So that hypertension, all the medication, they're focusing on what? Pushing the fluid out of the body to give you the illusion of a low blood pressure. That's an illusion. Mm. So by that, you're telling me that you're on medication because you're too much fluid? That's not the case. So the medication is not really addressing the root cause. All you're doing is just managing the symptoms to give you that illusion. And most of the medications are that way. And we end up just giving one medication after another. And then furthermore, another component that when you're writing a prescription for the side effect of another prescription you just wrote, the first question of the first line of Hippocratic Oath is, do no harm. What are we doing? Does that make sense?
Yes.
See the irony of that? And even the term healthcare, is it truly focused on health? Or is it managing sickness? Is it healthcare or managing sickness? And that's a question for you to answer. And for me, I want healthcare. I want to care for health. I want to bring the patient up to that level of optimal health. And that's why we emphasize our clinic. I want to bring patient to that level of optimal health and not just managing symptoms. And we all deserve that best health. We all do. And not just manage our symptoms. Makes sense. There's a lot more to it than that, but that was a starting point for me. And without going further, I can go on forever. There are other things in my life that actually inspire me, truly inspire me. From loss of my mom to cancer, to my own health, that was helped by what I'm doing now. And if we have a chance, we'll talk about it in the future. But really, what I want to emphasize on true health, not managing symptoms. And to restore that true health, you have to look what is wrong with the body and address that. Not just put a Band-Aid on the surface. If there's a crack on the wall due to the foundation, do you want to just patch a crack? No, let's fix the foundation. It might take longer to fix that foundation, but we'll fix it. And we'll figure it out together. That's why I tell patients. Let's figure it out together. And that's what we do at our clinic. And we've done that over and over again. Because we're addressing the underlying cause, not just managing the symptoms.